Thanks for joining us.
There we go.
Thanks for joining us, Coach. Mark Masner here with Carson-Newman men's basketball head coach Chuck Benson. Coach, a 99-70 win over Warren Wilson. When you spoke to our own Adam Cavalier before the game, you talked about how you refuse to overlook anybody. And this team, not being an NCAA team, maybe it's an easy thing to overlook them. What does it say about your team? What do you think it says about your team to be able to take this team seriously and beat them by nearly 30 points?
Right. Well, this was a situation where we had a schedule in place, and we lost a game, a contracted game with another institution. So we sort of got into scramble mode, and this was a summertime sort of addition, and it was really hard to find a fill-in such a late date. But we were able to get Warren Wilson to come over here. Dominic Boone, the head coach, is a Knoxville native, and this is his first year there, and it gave him a chance to get closer to home. So there were some other elements to this game. We would have obviously preferred to play as many NCAA Division II opponents as we can. But this was our last non-conference game, and it's stuck right in the sort of the middle of conference play. So we came into this and really didn't have much problem trying to get our guys motivated to do the right things in practice and to lock in for this. And thankfully, with finals looming like a dark specter behind us, we were able to lock in and find a win.
And, Coach, looking at the first couple of games of this season, 103 points allowed to Lees McRae, 93 to King. You look at your past two, including today, 70 on the board for Warren Wilson, 78 for Wingate. What have you seen in terms of improvements on the defensive side of things?
I think that as the season has gone along, we've improved defensively. And in so many ways, this is really a first-year go at it. We've played more or less a decade of zone defense, and so this year we've played 99.9% of the time man defense, and so we have no veteran status with it. But we are improving, and we're getting some guys valuable minutes, valuable experience, and I think we will continue to improve defensively as the season moves on.
And today on the offensive side of things, you look at the box score for Reese Anderson, 11 points to go along with 12 assists. So he really filled up the stat sheet here. What did you see out of him in terms of distributing the ball today?
Well, he does a really good job of getting into the paint. He's fast, he's quick, he's athletic, he's big, and when he got in there, he really collapsed help and was able to kick it out. And I'm happy for him because he takes pride in that role for our team, and to get a double-double that way, points and assists, that's a pretty major accomplishment. He would also tell you that it takes some guys making shots and finishing off his passes with makes, so he knows that there are some other people that helped with that. But I'm happy for Reese, and he was able to do that. I think that might be his first double-double, so that's a nice accomplishment as a senior.
And also taking a look at Luke Brennan, 21 points for him, 50% shooting from the field, 5 of 9 from three-point range, led the game in terms of made threes. What did you see out of him?
We got some good clean looks. Again, Reese was getting into the paint, and Luke was able to spot up around the perimeter and shoot with confidence. We took obviously a really large number of threes, 40 today, which is I think 14 or 15 above our typical average. But the Warren Wilson played a zone probably 38 and a half, 39 minutes of the game, and they were getting collapsed because we got the ball penetrated, and our guys just stepped up and knocked down good clean looks.
And taking a look at the rebounding margins, your team, one of the best rebounding teams in the nation. Warren Wilson struggles on the boards. 57 total rebounds for your team here, including 11 for E.J. Bush. How was your team able to essentially really just dominate on the boards? 57 boards to just 32 for Warren Wilson.
Well, I think some of that goes back to our defensive efforts. We were able to get them to take shots that weren't necessarily high percentage shots for them or their personnel, and then we were doing a good job of getting those defensive boards. And then our guys are becoming more and more committed to going to the offensive glass. We had 23 offensive boards tonight, and I think that's a way for us to get more possessions, more shot opportunities, and it really is a deflating act. I know as a coach, when you see an opponent go and get seconds and thirds on the offensive glass, you're ready to pull your hair out, and you typically get frustrated with your team, and sometimes you'll make irrational decisions. So there's multiple benefits that come from offensive rebounding, and our guys are understanding that more and more.
And Coach, your team had a 15-point lead at halftime. What was the kind of discussion in the locker room? What were some of the tweaks that were made?
Well, we really sort of challenged them to come out and really consider more what we were doing in terms of our controllables, have a greater sense of pride in that. I sort of knew that with finals being upon us and our guys are, I've been doing this for a long time, man. This is year 29, and I've seen this for the last 3 decades. When you get finals, you're right there going into it. Guys start getting a little crazy. They start feeling extra stress, and I could sort of see the last couple of days in particular that sort of creeping in. And I just told the guys, that despite that, we need to lock in and try to control our controllables tonight. But at the half, I just reminded them that, look, man, let's go at the second half and really try to have a better performance. There's people that came here and that are supporting us and that are here to try to see something that is of value, and let's try to honor them with that. And I thought there was a little bit of a better performance in the second half.
Speaking of that second half, your team really dominated, in particular in the fast break, 28-6 in terms of fast break points. Was that a point that you made, or was that kind of just the way things went in terms of the flow of the game?
Well, it's been like that. We've made a big point of that from the preseason. We knew we had Reese Anderson, who's a Jet, Tripp Davis, who, it's second game he's not played, second row he's not played. Both those guys are really good in transition. And when you get stops, you really want to try to make the opponent pay. So a lot of it goes back to our personnel and sort of the approach that we have created for this team this season.
You mentioned no Tripp Davis. Your team was still able to move the ball with effectiveness, 26 assists for your team there. What does it say about your crew to be able to move the ball without one of your better assist men in Tripp Davis?
Well, yeah, Tripp, it's unfortunate. We've played 8 games now, and he got hurt in the first half of the very first game, missed a half of that, missed the second game. So he has literally missed 3.5 of our, almost 50% of our games, and he's a really, really talented player. And unfortunately, with him being in and out of the rotation like this, sort of keeps him off balance, keeps us off balance, because he is a kid that really is a 33 minute game guy. But hopefully sitting him out again tonight will give him a chance to get healed up as we jump back into conference play. But I am happy that some of our other guys have had a chance to get more time and to get more experience, and I'm hoping that'll pay off for us in the long run.
And Coach, last question for you. You mentioned this was the last non-conference game for your team. You got Anderson and then Belmont coming up. How do you think that this team, how do you think that your non-conference slate will help your team going forward into conference play?
Yeah, well, it's funny because you never really know. But I thought opening weekend with Lees McRae and King at a away site and a neutral site. Both those teams have. I think they are collectively 12-2 on the season, so they're playing really well and are toying around with votes in the top 25. And then also the Shorter and Wesleyan, they were home games, and I think we really jacked up to play here at the house and performed well. And then of course Southern Wesleyan and now Warren Wilson have been games that I think were catalysts as we went into conference play. So they've all had their own place and time. But we're ready to get full bore into conference play and to sort of get into that rhythm that you get into when you start playing conference games.
He's head coach Chuck Benson after his team's 99-70 win over Warren Wilson. Coach, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Again, Chuck Benson after a 29-point win for the Eagles. When